Once upon a time, in a faraway village, there lived a family with 3 beautiful daughters. The youngest of these daughters was named Adia, which means gift. Her parents chose this name because they believed she was as precious as a gift. However, because of her striking beauty, everyone in the village began to call her Muna, which means beauty. As Adia grew, her beauty shone brighter and her nickname stuck. It became so common that even her family began to call her Muna. Eventually, everyone forgot that her real name was Adia. When Muna introduced herself, she used the name everyone knew her by. "You are truly beautiful, like a red gem," the villagers would say, admiring her. And so, Muna became her identity, known and admired by everyone in the village. Muna was not just beautiful, she was also kind-hearted and very talented at sewing clothes. As the youngest of 3 daughters, she looked up to her other siblings, Eshe and Nya, who were also very beautiful. Muna loved her family deeply and was so proud of her sisters. However, as she grew older, she began to notice that beauty alone did not guarantee happiness. Eshe and Nya had captivated the hearts of wealthy men who came from the city to marry them. However, their beauty, which seemed to be a blessing, turned out to be a double-edged sword. As Muna grew up, she witnessed her sisters' weddings, which were grand affairs filled with music, dancing, and promises of a bright future. The men who married Eshe and Nya had promised their parents that they would support the girls in furthering their education. But once they were married, these promises were broken. Eshe's husband, despite his wealth, was unfaithful and often left her feeling lonely and abandoned. Nya's husband, on the other hand, was abusive and constantly accused her of infidelity. Both sisters were trapped in their unhappy marriages, unable to leave because they lacked the skills or education to support themselves independently. One afternoon, Muna visited Eshe in the city. The mansion was beautiful, but the atmosphere inside was cold and sad. Eshe sat by the window, looking miserable. "You have to be careful," Eshe warned, her voice trembling. "Don't let our fate become yours. Beauty can attract the wrong kind of attention." Muna nodded solemnly, understanding the depth of her sister's despair. She then visited Nya, who had a bruise on her cheek from a recent beating. "Why don't you leave him, Nya?" Muna asked, tears welling in her eyes. "I have nowhere to go, and I don't want to burden our parents. Besides, they rely on the money he sends them," Nya replied, her voice barely a whisper. Muna returned home from visiting her sisters in the city, her arms full of goodies she had brought back, gifts of clothes, food, and other items her sisters had given her. Her mother greeted her warmly as she entered their small, modest house in the village. "Muna, you are back," she exclaimed, her eyes lighting up. "What did you bring?" Muna handed her mother the bags. "Here, Mama. These are from Eshe and Nya. They wanted to make sure you have everything you need." Muna's mother began to unpack the bags, smiling at the contents. But Muna's heart was heavy. She couldn't hold back her feelings any longer. "Mama, I need to talk to you," Muna said, her voice serious. Her mother looked up, sensing the urgency in her daughter's tone. "What is it, my child?" Muna took a deep breath. Eshe and Nya are suffering. Eshe's husband cheats on her all the time. Her mother sighed and shook her head. "Muna, you are still young. You do not understand marriage yet. When you grow up, you will see that a woman must be strong and endure her marriage, just like I have." Muna was confused. "But Mama, why should they stay if they are unhappy?" Muna's mother sat down and looked at Muna with a tired expression. "Do you think I stay with your father because I am happy all the time?" "No, Muna. I stay because it is my duty as a wife and mother. We must be strong for our family." Muna felt a wave of sadness wash over her. "But Mama, I don't want to live like that. I don't want to suffer like Eshe and Nya." Her mother took Muna's hand gently. "Every woman has her struggles. Marriage is not always easy, but we must do what we can to keep our family together." Muna's eyes filled with tears. "Mama, I promise you, I will not settle for a marriage like my sisters. I want to study, become a fashion designer, and make my own way in life." Her mother looked at her with a mix of pride and worry. "You are smart, Muna. I hope your dreams come true. But remember, life is not always as simple as we wish it to be." Muna nodded, understanding her mother's words, but still resolute in her heart. She knew she had to follow her own path, no matter how difficult it might be. She hugged her mother tightly, feeling a deep love for her, but also a firm resolve to change her own destiny. Muna was walking home from school, chatting with her friends from high school. They were all in awe of her skill in needlework, praising her designs and talent. "You are so talented, Muna. Everyone loves your clothes," said Kato, one of her friends. "Thank you, Kato," Muna replied with a smile. "I just love making beautiful things." As they were about to part ways, Muna turned to another friend, Zara. "Zara, please remind your mother that I will finish her dress this weekend. She can come and collect it on Sunday." "I will, Muna. Thank you so much," Zara responded cheerfully. They all waved goodbye, and Muna continued her journey home. As she walked down the dusty village road, a shiny luxury car drove past her, then suddenly reversed back. The window rolled down, and a well-dressed man called out to her. "Hello there, beautiful. What's your name?" the man asked, smiling. Muna stopped and looked at him, feeling uncomfortable. "My name is Muna. What do you want?" The man grinned. "You are very beautiful, Muna. I like you. I want to get to know you better." Muna frowned and shook her head. "Thank you, but I am not interested." The man seemed surprised by her response, but didn't give up. He asked where she lived and drove to her house. When he arrived, he spoke to Muna's parents, telling them the same story her sister's husbands had told. "I want to marry your daughter," the man said confidently. "I will take her to the city and help her further her studies. She will have a good life with me." Muna's parents were excited and tried to convince her. "This is a good opportunity for you. He is a wealthy man and he will take care of you." But Muna was firm. "No, Mama, Papa, I do not want to marry him. I want to continue my studies and become a fashion designer." Despite her parents' attempts to persuade her, Muna refused the man's proposal. Over time, many other suitors came, each promising her heaven and earth, but Muna turned them all down. At the end of the year, the results from her school exams were announced. Muna was nervous but hopeful as she went to check her results. When she saw her scores, she was overjoyed. She had passed with flying colors, and her dream of going to college to study fashion design was within reach. She ran home to share the good news with her parents. "Mama, Papa, I did it. I passed my exams with high marks. I can go to college now." Her parents were proud and happy for her. "We are so proud of you, Muna. You have worked so hard, and now you will achieve your dreams." Muna's journey to the city to study fashion design was made possible with the money she had saved from sewing clothes for her villagers. Her sister, Nya, also helped her pay for college for the whole year. When Muna arrived in the city, she stayed with Nya since Nya's house was closer to the college. On Muna's first day at college, she attracted a lot of attention. Her beauty and the stylish clothes she had designed for herself made her stand out. Everyone, including the lecturers, noticed her. A group of ladies often came up to her to compliment her outfits. "Wow, your dress is amazing. Did you make it yourself?" one of the girls asked. "Yes, I did," Muna replied with a smile. "She is so talented and beautiful," another girl said, and everyone nodded in agreement. When Muna walked through the college, people stared at her, admiring her beauty and talent. That first week was very exciting for her. Many girls wanted to be her friend and would wave at her from a distance or call out, "How are you, Muna?" They would even ignore whoever she was with just to get her attention. Muna received a lot of attention from the guys too. Even guys from other faculties would hang around Muna's faculty just to talk to her or ask if they could buy her lunch. "Hi, would you like to have lunch with me today?" one of the boys asked. "Thank you, but I already have plans," Muna would reply politely. Despite all the attention, Muna was unsure who truly liked her for who she was. She felt that people were drawn to her looks rather than her personality. After the first week of classes, Muna was due to move into her college residence. That Friday, after her classes, she went back to Nya's house. She could hear Nya and her husband arguing, which made her very upset. That night, Muna took Nya's old ribbon door and started sewing a mask to cover her face. The door was small, so she had to put many pieces together, resulting in a lot of stitches. Muna didn't care about the appearance of the mask. She just needed something to cover her face. She used the silicone texture of the door, which felt like real skin but looked hideous. On Sunday night, Nya drove Muna to the residence where she would stay. They hugged and said goodbye. "I will come to visit you whenever I can, okay? Study hard," Nya said to Muna. Muna was alone in her residence because her roommate had not moved in. On Monday, Muna went to school wearing her face mask. No one recognized her as Muna. As soon as she reached the academic area, everyone was whispering and laughing. "What is that?" someone said. Muna went to the friends she had made during the first week and told them, "It's me, Muna." They laughed scornfully. "Do you think you can ever look as beautiful as Muna?" They mocked. "Don't look our way." In class, everyone started asking, "Where is Muna today?" Even the lecturers who admired her beauty asked, but no one knew. The first day of the week was very long for Muna. Students from other halls came just to see her. No one wanted to be seen hanging out with her. During breaks, she was like a museum exhibit. Everyone came to watch her. One day in class, the lecturer asked her a question about design principles. Muna answered correctly and comprehensively, but instead of praising her knowledge, the other students snickered. "Looks like the ugly mask can hide her brains." One of them whispered loudly enough for Muna to hear. During lunch, Muna sat alone. As she unwrapped her food, she could hear the whispers and see the pointing fingers. "Did you see that mask? It's so ugly," a girl said, giggling. "Yeah, and to think she used to be so pretty," another responded. Muna felt her eyes sting with tears, but she held them back. She reminded herself why she was there and focused on her studies. Despite the mockery, Muna excelled in her classes. Her projects were always the best, and her designs were unique and innovative. However, the mockery did not stop. One day, while working on a group project, a boy named Kofi deliberately spilled ink on her design. "Oops, sorry, didn't see you there behind that hideous mask," he said, laughing. Muna looked at her ruined work and felt the sting of tears again. She took a deep breath and calmly replied, "It's okay, I'll start over." Her resilience only seemed to fuel the students' scorn. They started calling her Mask Girl and would make faces at her as she walked by. Even during presentations, they would whisper and laugh, making it hard for her to concentrate. One evening, after a particularly hard day, Muna sat in her room and cried. She missed the days when people admired her for her beauty, but she knew that those same people never really saw her for who she was. She resolved to keep going, to prove that she was more than just a pretty face. The day of the fashion design competition arrived. Muna presented her collection wearing her mask. The audience and judges were initially taken aback by her appearance, but as soon as they saw her designs, their attitudes changed. Her work was exceptional, and her presentation was flawless. As she finished, there was a moment of silence before the room erupted in applause. Muna won first place, and her designs were selected to be showcased in a prestigious fashion show. The same students who mocked her were now clapping and cheering. Despite her victory, the mockery continued. "She might be talented, but she'll always be the mask girl," someone said as she walked past. Muna ignored the comments and focused on her work. She knew that true change would take time, and she was willing to wait. Her success in the competition marked a turning point. People began to see her talent and dedication, and slowly, the mocking voices grew quieter. Some of her classmates even started to apologize for their behavior. One day, Kofi approached her. "I'm sorry for what I did. Your work is incredible, and I was wrong to mock you." Muna looked at him and nodded. "Thank you, Kofi." Over time, Muna made genuine friends who appreciated her for her personality and talent. Her journey was not easy, but she never gave up on her dreams. She worked hard, overcame obstacles, and proved that true beauty lies within.